Hey guys, me again. Murdoch here, coming at you with another video. Today I'm just gonna kind of go over the basics of scripting. As you can see here, I have two things open. I've got the Teardown website and my text editor that I use for scripting. And yeah, let's start this video off. So, for the text editor, I use Notepad++. You guys are gonna want to have to go are going to want to go to Google and search a Notepad++. That's two plus symbols, not the actual word. And it's free. Just go ahead and give it a download. And once you load it up, you can choose the language to Lua from the language toolbar, or the language drop-down menu, and then go to L for Lua, and then Lua will be right there. And then we are all set up for scripting Lua. So why am I over in the Teardown website? Because I'm going to show you where I grab my scripting references from. So just going to scroll all the way down once we're there, and then over here we have scripting API. And now this is the page that has all of our API functions that the game supports. Quite a bit. I'm obviously not going to go over all of them. I'm just going to do a few, go over a few of them here. Some of the basics that we'll be using a lot in scripting are we use a lot of shapes, we use a lot of bodies, we use a lot of locations, joints. I use a lot of lights, I use a lot of triggers, I use a lot of screens. We got vehicles. Player functions are very important. Sound is important. I don't use sprites, but you can draw sprites on the scene. Scene queries, particles, spawning. This is for spawning objects. Miscellaneous, we got everything else that is not listed there. It doesn't belong in any category. And then user interface. So those are the categories of API functions we have, and you can see all the functions within them. There is quite a bit, but like I said, I'm not going to go over all of them. We also have, the parameters, script control, registry, vector math, and entity. Those are less used. Those are a little bit more advanced, some of them. So I don't use them too much, but I do use them. But I will not be going over them in this video. So, let's start with, how about shape? Shape is a pretty basic thing that we're going to be using in scripting. Finding shapes, manipulating shapes, getting shape sizes, locations, rotations, all that stuff. So, if we want to go find a shape, we right over here, we're going to click that link, and it's going to jump us. We're going to be jumped right to the find shape description. So as you can see here, we have handle equals find shape, tag global, arguments, tag string, optional is the tag name, global boolean, optional, search in entire scene. I'll go over that later. So the handle, in other words, is what we want to call the joint, or the shape. So I can really just call it, let's do our shape. And then I'm gonna follow the rest of the function here. Oops. Find shape. And there is an example that we can use here. There's one there, so I'm gonna follow that example. I'm just going to leave the quotes empty for now, and I'll explain why. So there's our find shape function. I'm just going to go into the game and open my scripting example mod. And I'm going to delete everything that is in there, and we start fresh. So what I'm going to do is just go to the built-in menu, and Oh, I'm just going to drag a crate in. How about that? And over on, once I select the crate, I can go over to the properties of it. And in the tags field, I can enter anything I want. I'm just going to name it crate for simplicity. And if you remember, I left these quotation marks empty. Now I can put crate there. Excuse me. So let's go over this, shall we? The script is trying to find a shape named crate, or tagged crate. And back in the game, in the tags field, I have crate. So as long as those two words match, it will find whatever you're looking for. And our shape is the name for what we want to call our shape. Find shape will return a value, an ID for the shape. And the ID is given a name of our shape. If the ID changes, the name stays the same. Now, if you remember, there is a global tag over here, optional, or a global parameter, which is optional. We're not going to use that right away. And that is going to find our shape. And to make sure I know that it's going to find our shape, we can use debug print. Oops, our shape. So I'm going to debug what ID our shape is referencing. So with that set up, I'm going to click on the crate, go into the Scene Explorer menu here on the left-hand side, make sure it's highlighted, I'm going to right-click it, and do Put in Script. And we are going to find our script file that we made. Mine is our windmill.lua script that we made in the previous videos. I've just modified it a little bit, so it is in mod main script windmill.lua. This little handy menu here, mod will put you in the mod's main or the mod's root folder. Main is the main folder within that, and script is the script folder within that, and then windmill.lua is our file, script file. So with that set up properly, we have the crate as a child node of the script node. As you can see, it is tabbed in underneath windmill. We can go ahead and play that. And down in the left-hand corner, we have a number of 6. And that is what our debug print function is doing. That means it has found our crate. And the ID of the crate is 6. So if you've been following along, our shape is the name for the ID of that find shape is returning, or the name for the value that find shape is returning. And I can debug that value by using debug print and putting the name of that ID within the 2 brackets or parentheses wherever you're from. And that will give us the ID of the shape that we're looking for. A little bit confusing. It can be a little bit confusing. Once you play with it and do it once or twice, it's really not that hard. You'll understand the gist of it. And that is how we make sure that we have found our shape. I don't use a lot, that I'm just showing that we have actually found the shape. Oops, I'm going to go back to the game here. And Actually, no, there's really nothing I need to do here, but I will set prop to true. And back to my script. Inside the tick function, I should probably explain these functions. Init will run whatever is inside it, the init function, only once at map loading. Function tick, the tick function will run every frame. The DT stands for delta time, which is the time since the last frame was rendered, I believe anyway. The update function runs at a constant 60 times per second, I believe, which is the timing of the game. And the draw function is what we use to draw elements on the screen. Text, pictures, lines, anything. So going into the tick function now that is out of the way. Let's say I wanted to find, show the location of this shape, and in this case the crate on screen. I'm actually going to remove the debug code that we put there since I already know it's found it. And I am going to do something like this. Local. Okay, so I've got local our shape underscore POS position, short for position, equals get shape world transform our shape. So over here, back in the I like to call our scripting Bible, the scripting API website, we do have that function, and I'll show it to you. Get shape world transform. So I've set it up properly here. Local means it is going to be only used, it can only be used inside the tick function if I made an if statement that looks something like that. If I have local inside there, and remember this if statement is inside the tick function, then this line here can still only be used in this if statement, not in the tick function. So local keeps things local. So local, our shape position equals get shape world transform, our shape. And let's say I only wanted to grab the position of it and not the rotation. I can do put .pos at the end of that, and that will only grab the position of this shape and not the location, or not the rotation as well. So let's show this on screen. We use debug cross. I'll explain this in a second. So I have debug cross, our shape position, with a color of 1, 0, 0, which gives it red, 1 red, 0 green, 0 blue. And get shape world transform will get the position in world space of our shape. Sorry, I did not explain that before. And remember, our shape is right up here. And the world transform means the transform meaning position. Transform is actually position and a combination of position and rotation. So I'd like to shorten it to position. So our shape position equals get shape world transform our shape, and I only want the position of that, not the rotation of the transform. So I do .pos, and that will only grab the position. And once that's out of the way, we have our shape. Our shape underscore POS is the name of the value that this function is returning. And to debug it, I can use debug across. There it is right there, the name of what I want to debug. And our color value, RGB, red 1, 0 green, 0 blue. And after saving that, we can go into the game. And now we have a small red cross where the origin of our shape is. The origin of the shape is would be 0, 0, 0 coordinates in the shape's local space. And I can move that around and it will update as well. The little cross moves with it as I move the shape around. So that's grabbing us our the location of the shape's origin. Sorry, I'm kind of breaking it a bit. But we can use that to show where it is, the debug cross function. And let's say, sorry, let's go back into the game. Now I want to get rid of that tag there, and I'm going to select the crate to put in body, and I'm going to give the body the same tag. Now instead of find shape, I can do find body, because it is now in a body node. Let's name it our body as well. Just going to copy and paste it in every instance that it appears. Oops. Okay, now we have an updated script. Our body equals find body crate. Our body position equals get body transform. We don't have to use world transform in this case when we're working with bodies. Our body.pos, we still only want to grab the position of it. And here I am debugging the position. So after that's saved, we can go back. And play. And now, as you can see, our body did not move, but our shape did. And do you want to know why that happened? It's because I made a bit of a mistake. I did not set the crate node to prop equals false. The body node, its dynamic property is set to true. I want that to remain like as it is, but the crate inside the body node, I wanted prop to be false. So fixing that little error, there we go. Now the crate is not the thing moving in this case. The crate, or the body that the crate is in, is moving. So that's how the debug, or that's how the cross is moving with the crate. So with the prop, or with the crate's prop setting set to false, it is a static object, but the body's dynamic setting is set to true, which makes the body a movable object. but the prop or the shape inside is still not. So it can be a little bit confusing. I get that. But that is one thing to remember, and it's I overlook it a lot. It's not the first time I've made a mistake like that. But as you can see, our little cross is in the center point of the bottom of the body. And if you would notice, that center point is actually our pivot point where we can move it. So if I were to move the crate kind of over here without moving the body, and you can see the body is still here, I'm going to play the little red crosshair, cross, whatever you want to call it, is way off to the side of the crate. But if I pick up the crate, that crosshair still moves with it, because I'm still only moving the body. I'm not moving the crate. The crate remains still inside body space. It is the body that I am moving around in world space. So let's, I'm just going to reset the pivot point there. I can press O, and it is now reset to the center of the shape. And that is now reset. So now what I can do, let's say I want to get the shape inside that. So local body shapes equals get body shapes. So now I have a body shapes variable I can use, and get body shapes is grabbing the shapes inside the body. The body being our body. If you remember, there it is up there. We're finding the body. It's returning our body, and now we can use our body wherever the heck we want. So body shapes. I am gonna find the shapes inside the body, and they are named body shapes. So with that in mind, I can do local shape 1 equals get shape world transform, and here's what I can do to find the shape within that body. Body shapes 1. I know there's only one shape inside the body, but 1 will be the first shape in that body. That's what the 1 stands for. If I had, say I had 5 shapes in that body and I wanted to manipulate the third shape in that body, I would use 3. But I'm going to use 1 because I want to manipulate the first shape in the body, which is also the only shape. So 1 is really the only value that will work here. So we have shape 1 equals get shape world transform. I want to grab the world transform of body shapes 1, the first shape inside the body shapes table. And I can also put .pos there. And to quickly debug that, I'm going to just duplicate that line. And I'm going to make it green. Back in the game, I now have 2 positions debugging. 1 debugging where the body is in red, and the other one where debugging where the shape is in green. Remember, it's still debugging the shape's origin point, which is why it is at the corner. But as you can see, they will still move around with each other. So, to recap, the shape is not a movable object. The body it is in is a dynamic body, which means I can move it and interact with it. That's how I can still pick up the shape inside it, because it is the body moving, not the shape. The shape remains exactly where it is in the body locally. It's only the body moving around. So you have to look at it like that. And I am debugging the position of the shape in green and the body itself in red. So I hope you've been following along, and you may have to, as Johnny Locke says, I'm gonna have to see that again. You might have to, you might have to see this or watch this once or twice to get the gist of it, and just play around with this, guys. It's lots of fun. Scripting is a great way to not only pass time, but I find it enjoyable. It's it's fun to see what your mind can come up with. It's a way to let your creativity out, you know. Anything you can think of, you can probably translate that to a script and make it happen in game. So that's what I like to do. So if you've been following along, I hope you didn't run into any problems. If you did, feel free to let me know. Remember, I'm just in the YouTube comments. You can say something. I'm on Discord. I don't check Discord a lot, but I am there. Steam, of course, I'm on Steam. Yeah, that's about the only places you can find me at the moment. But yeah, my next video will probably be on map making, so be sure to stay tuned for that. It's just going to be like the basics of map making. And I know I said this is the basics of scripting. Trust me, this is pretty basic stuff. You can get pretty intricate and in-depth and complex with your codes, and this is actually pretty basic, relatively speaking. So I hope you enjoyed my somewhat basic, somewhat easy to follow little scripting guide for you. And with that, I will see you in the next video. I've been Murdoch. Peace out.